In this movie, we are going to talk about some common mistakes that students may make when they take the IELTS writing task 2 writing test. And the main purpose of this lesson is to help you to avoid off-topic statements. Why it is so important? You should remember that task achievement is is going to take about 1/4 of your score. So, however good your vocabulary is, however good your grammar is, if you make some off-topic statements, then you definitely going to lose some marks in writing task 2. And that is what I want you to avoid after this lesson. The second point is to help you to write more confidently. By more confidently, I mean you should understand the requirements of the question. Requirement of the question. What do they require us to do? And how to meet the requirements more completely so we can earn the high score in task achievement requirement. Okay, so and that is the purpose of this movie. And in order to learn about this lesson, I will introduce one typical question in writing task 2. Okay, this is the question. In some countries, an increasing number of people are suffering from health problems as a result of eating too much fast food. It is necessary for government to put a higher tax on this kind of food. To what extent do you agree or disagree with this opinion? Okay, and this is a typical question in writing task 2, but the most important thing that you have to do right before you read this question is to have to understand what is fact and what is opinion. So in the question there are two sentences, and the first one is fact and the second one is opinion. They use fact as an introduction to opinion. So when you read a fact, you don't have to prove it. Don't have to prove it. Okay, you don't have to prove the fact. Don't have to prove. Why it is so important? Because it's very common for some students to talk too much about some health problems caused by fast food, and they spend nearly a paragraph to talk about this, but they nearly ignore or they nearly skip the opinion. But the opinion is the most important thing. When the question talk about opinion, they need you to discuss or need you to put forward your opinion about their opinion. So the first mistake that I want you to be aware of is do not try to prove the fact. Okay, what you have to prove is you have to prove the opinion, and the fact is just an introduction to the opinion. It's not something that you have to prove or you have to agree with. You just have to acknowledge it. Okay, and that is the first mistake. Moving on, the second one is you frequently make some off-topic statement. Why is this so important? You often make some off-topic statement because you don't understand the keywords or you don't notice the keywords in the question. So this is a typical question. What are keywords we are talking about? You can spare some few seconds. You can spare a few seconds to note some keywords that you think they are. Okay, in my opinion, the most important keywords are health problem, fast food, last but not least, the higher tax. So this is the first, second, and the third one. So whatever statement you are going to make, you have to focus on these three keywords. I mean, whatever you talk about, you should have these three keywords in your statement. Okay, in order to understand this mistake, I will introduce some off-topic statement that you often make when you write this and you talk when you answer this question. Okay, the first off-topic statement or off-topic ideas is We should impose higher levies on fast food to subsidize other areas such as education. Levies, in this case, I mean tax, and impose, I mean put. Okay, I just paraphrase the put higher tax on. So, what's wrong with this statement? The as you can see, we have fast food and we have tax, but we use tax to subsidize education, and this is not what they are going to require you to talk about. They require you to talk about health problem, not education. So this is first common mistake that you make when you have an idea. In order to correct to this statement, we just have to change the education into healthcare system, and this is a correct statement that meet every requirement of the question. Okay, the better one is you have to change education into healthcare system, and we have a better idea to talk about. Okay, and the second off-topic idea that students often make is fast food industry should be taxed simply because it is bad for the environment. Okay, they require us to talk about health, not the environment. Okay, so this is an off-topic problem, off-topic idea. And in order to make it a better idea, we just have to change the environment into the public well-being. Fast food industry should be taxed simply because it is bad for the public well-being. By well-being, I mean health. Okay, this means health. Health. Okay, I missed an L right there. Okay, so that is two common off-topic ideas that students often make when they answer this question. So as a recap, as a takeaway, you should, whenever you read a question in IELTS speaking test, you should ask yourself two questions. The first one is, what are facts and opinions? Okay, when they read the question, you just need to be aware of the fact, but you have to make ideas about the opinion, not about the fact. Some ideas. You must have some idea about the opinion. And the next thing you should ask yourself is, what are keywords? And when you understand the keywords, every idea must be around the keywords. And sometimes you make some idea that is not related to some keywords. And at that point, you should ask yourself, is this a good idea or not? Does this idea meet the requirement of the question? So whenever you read question in IELTS test, you should ask yourself these two questions, and I'm pretty sure, and I'm definitely sure that you will have a good idea in IELTS speaking, in IELTS writing test, especially task 2. So I have a small questions for you in order to, because in the next video we are going to expand the idea, so I want you to discuss two questions about this topic. The first one is, do you think an increase in tax on fast food could reduce health problems? And why do you think so? Can you think of at least one benefit or drawback of increasing tax on fast food? Okay, this is two questions or two practice for the next movie that we are going to expand the idea. I really hope you answer these questions in comment, and I will help you to correct your grammar or some vocabulary. And in the next video, we'll keep talking about this topic. Okay, see you in the next movie. Bye bye.